One key point, which is Victor Hugo sort of pretends he's writing about the history of England, but what he writes is so mad, it's nothing like the history of England at all, but he pretends it is. So quite early on, we decided that we'd sort of make this version in a sort of version of history that clearly is made up.
Yeah,
it's not real. And that allows Carl to create all sorts of strange things that couldn't happen in any world, but they're the rules of this world, which is that sort of unleashed your satirical writing bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it was a really very liberating thing to just realise that we could take, and create our own world. Yeah, like Tom said. So it is set in a kind of alternate universe, really, and that in itself can kind of gives it does comment on things in our world, but it gives us a little bit of space and play to come up with a world that's got completely its own rules. Well, I mean, ultimately, I guess it's a fairy tale, is what we've extracted and pushed, because it's the thing that I got from the book was that it really is. It's sort of the images are the strongest thing you get from it. But right in the centre of it, you have this kind of character who is sort of the ultimate outsider, Grinning, who has been disfigured by a mysterious assailant who sort of starts to kind of spiral in towards the city and this kind of reaching this moment, which is, he's trying to find out who did it. So all his life he's been wondering who this guy is. He can't remember for some reason why, but sort of gravity is pulling him towards this moment of truth. And it takes him kind of into the world of aristocracy, and that is a sort of little playground for satire that we've explored.
Yeah, I mean, it's about, in the end, it's a love story. It's about a true, profound, simple and growing and developing love, which is thwarted, which is prevented by the values of a world which is very cruel, very uncaring, where no one cares about anything except making money. The royal motto is, to them who have much, more shall be given. To them who have not, the little they have shall be taken away. So it's about love in the face of a hideously cruel society. So no, we can't think of any parallels with the modern world at all.
It is a musical, but it's also, I think, massively theatrical. I mean, I know musicals are sort of big on spectacle, but this is, I think, theatrically brilliantly complicated, and it's about stories and storytelling and actually shows within shows as well. So Tom's done a brilliant job of creating the worlds within worlds, and one of the worlds, it's sort of this world of microcosm, is puppets. And Grinning has a show that he takes around with his father and his the girl he loves, Dea, and they have this show and they tell their story through puppets.
Obviously it doesn't look or feel like a conventional musical in some ways, but we think it's a pure musical because when Carl's telling his story, at the point where he needs to kind of reach for the clutch and go into four-wheel drive emotionally, that's when the music kicks in. And Tim and Mark have written these incredibly powerful, emotional songs. And that's all any musical does, is it's kind of got this emotional core running through its centre, which is gushing with musical emotion. That's what they've given us, and that's what happens in the show. When you get a big emotional moment, there is a big emotional song.
It's a fairly tricky part because he's the main guy, he's the protagonist, but he's kind of got this prosthetic on, he's covered in bandages.
Don't give it away.
Oh no, sorry. He actually has to cut himself every night. But it's a tough part and technically really, really difficult. And we found this guy, and Louis made the show in Bristol and is doing it now. And thank God he is, because he's extraordinary in the part. The
role of the Grinning Man goes from a baritone to pretty much a soprano. It goes the whole range. And again, we're sitting here in this steamy room where we've just been listening to him sing it. And he can't, every time he sings it, it's like, it feels as if he's cutting himself to the core. It's incredible emotional power. It's riveting. He can't do it lightly, even if you you know, even in a rehearsal, he absolutely does it every time. It's amazing.
Yeah, yeah.
See past my